Culture Corner, the show where we review all things pop culture. I'm Zachary Rustay.
And I'm Margaret.
And today we will be taking a look at the 2022 remake of Pinocchio, which is based on the book The Adventures of Pinocchio by Carlo Collodi.
Pinocchio is a 2022 American musical fantasy film directed by Robert Zemeckis from a screenplay by Zemeckis and Chris Weitz. And the film, produced by Walt Disney Pictures, is a live-action remake, like I said, of Walt Disney's 1940 animated film of the same name. By November 2018, it was reported that Tom Hanks was in early talks to play Geppetto in the film. He actually passed on the project after King's departure, but he rejoined it on August 2020. And the main cast was announced on January and March 2021, and so therefore Tom Hanks was confirmed to play Geppetto.
Pinocchio, who is played by Benjamin Evan Ainsworth. Now we're going to delve into the story with spoilers. Okay, so Pinocchio tells the story of a small Italian village where Jiminy Cricket, played by Jesse Gordon-Levitt, who is walking towards the toy shop of Geppetto.
Geppetto has recently completed a work on a marionette based on his unfortunately deceased son, which he names Pinocchio, and one night before he was going to go to bed, making a wish on a star to have Pinocchio as maybe another son because of his deceased son, which is unfortunate, but that's a nice wish to make as well. When Geppetto wakes up and finds Pinocchio alive, he's surprised at first because he wasn't expecting it, but then he becomes very overjoyed when he finds Pinocchio in that state.
Yes. And then a few days later, Geppetto decided to send Pinocchio off to school until he is stopped by a con artist fox named Honest John, along with his silent friend Gideon, the cat.
Surprisingly, the schoolmaster kind of sent him out from the school because he wasn't a real boy. Jiminy Cricket at that moment should have gotten Geppetto, and Geppetto could have talked to the schoolmaster. So in this case, it wasn't Pinocchio's fault because he tried and the schoolmaster wouldn't let him in. So that was a rather surprising plot twist.
And then Jiminy Cricket ends up captured in a pickle jar by Honest John. So Honest John sells Pinocchio to Stromboli for his puppet show.
Pinocchio ends up in the puppet show and he's dancing on stage, and then he feels like he's enjoying it, but then he realizes that it's not really for him, and then he ends up in a cage and Jiminy Cricket has to come find him. And so Pinocchio realized that even if Jiminy Cricket didn't tell Geppetto about, getting kicked out of school, Pinocchio should have at least gone to Jiminy for help and not, gone to Stromboli.
While he was in Stromboli's theater, he ended up befriending a Tirana puppet named Fabina, played by Kiane Lamaya, and her puppet Sabrina.
Pinocchio is unfortunately swiped up by a coach full of kids driven by a charismatic coachman.
Yep, the coachman is voiced by Luke Evans.
Yep, and I thought Luke Evans did a really good job in this movie, playing a different role. It was a surprise, but I enjoyed the role that he played. He did a good job with it. He was taking everyone to Pleasure Island, where misbehavior is encouraged, and once there, Pinocchio slowly gets disturbed by the sadism that the kids show or display, much to the amusement of an irresponsible boy named Lampwick.
The other thing about Pleasure Island is it was later revealed that all the misbehaving kids would turn into donkeys, and the coachman would sell them to salt mines to make money. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that was another one of the parts that was the same as the cartoon movie.
And like in the original, it was pretty tough sitting through the when Lampwood turns into a donkey.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was. Pinocchio gets free from the cage and he finds his father. They unfortunately get swallowed by a giant sea monster, not a whale, named Monstro. Monstro was the name of the whale in the original movie, so they switched the character in this one. Eventually, they get out from Monstro, and by making him sneeze, and then he chases Geppetto and Pinocchio and everyone else, and then they escape from him. And when Pinocchio and his father get onto dry land, Pinocchio thinks that his father has passed away. And so Pinocchio starts to get really upset, and when he's upset, he starts to cry, and a magical tear falls from his eye on Geppetto, kind of reviving him. And I was happy about that because I felt a little nervous about that, because when you see that, it really looked like he had passed away, but I was glad when that happened that he was still alive.
I agree. It was really nice seeing them come back to life. Like Geppetto being okay in the end. The ending is actually is pretty clever.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like instead of Pinocchio ending up transforming into a real boy, it's believed that he eventually turns into a real boy because he always believed he was a real boy.
What matters, Jiminy told him, and also how he narrated it, is that Pinocchio has a brave, truthful, unselfish heart, and that he's fully real to his proud and loving father. Yep, so that was a very clever ending for Pinocchio.
Mm-hmm. And it also stays true to what the original story was going for. That as long as you believe in yourself, anything can happen.
Yep, that's very true.
And for music, and the three songs that stayed from the original movie were "When You Wish Upon a Star," "Hi Diddly Dee," "An Actor's Life for Me," and "I've Got No Strings."
Those songs, I think, were some of my favorite songs from the original Pinocchio movie too.
Mm-hmm. We also got 4 brand new songs for Pinocchio, including "When He Was Here With Me" and "Pinocchio, Pinocchio," which was performed by Tom Hanks. And it also shows that Tom Hanks is a really good singer.
Yep, Tom Hanks has a very good voice.
Mm-hmm.
Very good singing voice, yeah.
Then there was "I Will Always Dance," which was performed by Fabina.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, the Coachman to Pleasure Island, which was performed by Luke Evans, who showed that he definitely has a really good singing voice.
Yep, he does. And I think that with Luke Evans being in this movie, I think that Luke Evans could just about do any role in any movie, I would say. Just like that's the same with Tom Hanks, because he's been in several different films and a wide variety of them as well. For the Benjamin Evan Ainsworth was the role of Pinocchio, and I never heard of him before, but I think he did really well. For a little bit of a sneak peek, there's a word that there is probably going to be a Pinocchio sequel to this. So if there is, I hope Tom Hanks comes back, and I hope that Benjamin Evan Ainsworth comes back, and I hope most of the cast comes back for the second one, if they do one. I thought Tom Hanks was superior as Geppetto. I liked the animation of this movie. I liked the graphics and the colors, so I thought it was a film well done.
I thought Pinocchio was an excellent movie too, and there were also some really cool Easter eggs in Geppetto's shop with all the clocks. Because a lot of them there was some Disney films in clocks, such as Woody from Toy Story. Also, Roger Rabbit makes an appearance, which was pretty cool considering Robert Zemeckis directed Roger Rabbit, as well as Sleeping Beauty and Snow White. So, anything else you would like to add, Margaret?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
And this is Zach
And Margaret,
signing out.